time for Mark Kaboly.
Holy moly! Mark Kaboly! The Fan Morning Show keeps the sports talk rolling.
Oh, listen to that, Mark.
I'm for a loss at words. I'm at a loss for words here with I can't even get it.
Look at him.
Is that a xylophone, Callis? I think there's a little xylophone in there.
It's called a Helix synthesizer.
Oh.
Yeah. Helix.
You knew that.
I did.
Helix synthesizer.
Correct.
You didn't know that.
I did know that. Why didn't I know that? Yeah, I gave you an official intro, though, Mark, because you're...
That is absolutely wonderful.
You've earned that, buddy. And a great job by Callis there. It's taken him months to put together.
Yeah, can we hear that again, Callis?
You want to hear it again?
Yeah.
It's time for Mark Kaboly.
Holy moly! Mark Kaboly! The Fan Morning Show keeps the sports talk rolling.
I love it,
it's
actually. Gets stuck right in your craw there.
All right.
Mark Kaboly brought to you by Bet365. Mark, you didn't go to Mobile.
No.
Mobile?
What an awful place that is.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I tore my Achilles there last time, so I refuse to ever go back.
There in SoFi?
Yeah. 11 weeks apart. So
Ooh,
Could you imagine tearing your Achilles in Mobile?
Yeah, what happens then? Were you in a Mobile hospital?
No. I knew it at that time, so I knew what to do. So I grabbed the the boot from the right leg and threw it on the left leg and kept on going. Because I was about ready to get out of the right leg boot with another week or so.
How
So
did
I
you
just
tear it?
Oh, which one?
Mobile. I know the SoFi story. But how did you tear the Mobile one?
Well, I was sitting at that time. I think it was COVID, right? Or maybe the year after COVID. So it was really messed up. Most of the interviews were done inside of a convention center, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were blocking off people or whatever. Malik Willis was coming to the podium. And I'm standing there like a goober with my boot on my... Which one
Left.
did I tear first? I can't remember.
Doesn't really
my
matter.
right one. And I got absolutely plowed by some people running to go get Malik Willis. Took one giant step. The boot's higher than the foot. Took a jet step and went snap. And I'm like,
You
got hit?
some guy...
You took a charge?
I took a charge. It was a charge from the side.
Is that really why you won't go back there?
No, I hate the place. Well, no, I don't like the setup. The whole thing is goofy. But the best thing about that is literally I backed out of it and said, oh, my goodness, it did it again. And I'm like, oh, geez, there's Connor Hayward. I got to go talk to Connor Hayward. So I go and talk to Connor Hayward with like tears rolling down my eyes.
Worst pain you've ever been in?
It was not as much pain as it was not again. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
I told
Because you know what the rehab process is like, and now you got to go through that all again.
Yeah, so I said to Connor a couple years later, do you remember I talked to you in the at the Senior Bowl? Yeah. I said, I tore my Achilles about 2 seconds before that. And he did not care.
No.
That's because those guys go through it all the time.
Right.
It's a lot more rare for a sports writer to tear an Achilles while covering sports than it is for the players to get injured in the throngs of sport.
And the best thing is, when I flew home that day, I flew to Charlotte.
Does that puff up, too, when you get on the plane?
I don't know.
That happened to Ben Lovejoy with the Penguins. He got hit in the face, then his face was like, it looked like Hey Arnold's head.
I was just lucky that I had the boot on the other foot. So you ever go to the Charlotte airport? It's pretty significant. Well, our plane landed on all the way to the one end, so I had to get some person to push me on a wheelchair. And the poor girl was about 96 pounds. I felt bad for her.
Man. You didn't take one of those little car ride things?
No, it was like...
The
still do that?
sidewalks move in an airport.
Do they still take those little taxi things that drive through the airport? Remember, you'd always have to get out of the way. You'd have your headphones in. You almost get run over.
And you'd a lot of the times be thinking, oh, look at that poor chap on that thing. You could have been that poor chap.
I did that a couple of times during that season, maybe to Minnesota, where you got on the old beep, 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 beep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They still got those?
Yeah.
I think they have them. I'll be in the airport in a couple of weeks.
Where are you going?
New Orleans.
Why?
My brother-in-law did.
Another
down
miserable place.
You don't like anything.
Anything. He walked in today.
I've been there 3 times, and it's gotten worse every single time I've gotten there.
He walked in today. He was talking about somebody. I was like, Mark, do you like anybody? Do you like anything?
I was ripping on who? Popovich.
Yeah.
For being a bum the past 5
What do you
years.
like, honestly?
What are some things that Mark Kaboly actually
honestly,
enjoys?
I like Callis's intro.
Yes, that's a good intro.
That's new. So that just happened about 3 minutes ago.
Maybe
You don't have any hobbies?
Maybe this will be an assignment
Wrestling?
for later.
You love wrestling.
Well,
See,
But now it's a job.
Right.
it's a job.
What do you like?
I'm going to have to put this. I'm going to have to make a list.
You like camo cargo shorts or like what do you like?
Yeah, that's one thing too. Yes, I like Hocus shoes. There's one.
Do you like cutting the grass? A lot of people your
No.
age like cutting the grass. No.
Come on.
All right.
No.
Well, by the end of today's show, because we got to get into the heavy-hitting football
I
talk.
thought we did.
By the end of today's show, we need you to come up with 3 things that you actually like. Your wife and kids cannot be included.
legit.
Legit things that you like, because we know it's not legit that you like your wife.
Well, it's probably. I mean, I could probably come up with it now, but if you want to tease it, go ahead.
Give us one.
Oh, I'm a big fan of the pizza.
Just in general.
The pizza.
Big pizza.
Big pizza.
What's your favorite pizza in the area?
Let's see. That's now you're. Well, you might have to ask me after Friday, but
The pizza.
He's doing the pizza contest.
you know what's
with Bubba
really
on
good is
Friday.
right down the road here at the Beto's, the cold cheese one.
Oh, that is a polarizing take.
Honestly, it's good, but it's like a treat.
Mhm.
I don't think you could get that.
I
every
don't
week.
consider
At
it
least me.
pizza.
Right.
I like it.
It's
I don't
really good.
consider it pizza. It's like a Lunchable.
Yes.
But it's a really good Lunchable.
Very
I have to be in the mood.
Yeah.
When I think I want pizza, I'm
I
going
don't
to
want
get
that.
pizza.
I want grease.
Yeah. But if
Hot.
you'd have to want Beto's to get Beto's.
Yep.
It was a Beto's.
It's
Beto's.
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 Well, there used to be a.
So you like the pizza?
Badass.
All right.
That's just one off the top of my head.
All right. We'll effort to get Mark to reveal more about his personality later on in the show. 412-928-9370. The text line brought to you by Egger Snyder and Associates, a personal injury law firm where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. Art Rooney II with Jenna Harner, Channel 11.
How much longer do you see yourself in this role, or is there a timeline?
I don't have a timeline on it. My grandfather never retired. My father never retired, so I'm hoping to follow in their footsteps. And but look, my son's involved in the business now, and potentially other family members will be involved, and so we'll see how it goes.
How did you hear that, Mark? You speak artese.
Or
You understand that there's always subtext.
Yeah.
Like, is he saying he's never going to
No.
retire as president, or just
No, what he's saying there is there's not going to be any official announcement when he steps down. There's going to be slowly handing more and more things over to Danny. And before you know it, you open up the media guide one day and it's going to say President Dan Rooney Jr.
you don't think they'd make a big deal about
No,
that?
absolutely not, because that's not what their dad did. If you didn't know that Dan, old man Dan Rooney, or as I would just call him Mr. Rooney.
Yeah, that's more respectful
Yes.
than old man Dan.
Well, there's so many Dans, you have to that you just looked in the media guy one day and it was just changed. It was like emeritus, whatever. And that's what it's going to end up being. Don't read that as I am staying till I'm 90 and I'm in a wheelchair and no. It's just going to be slowly, gradually giving power over to his son rather than saying, here.
Right.
That's what
Why
that
would
is.
you ever do that?
Yeah.
Like if you own a team and own an organization, why would you ever give full power? Like you still want to have like the chair seat so you can still get paid.
Well, and it'd be Ralph Wilson forever. I mean, it's easy to be the owner. It's less so to be the president,
Yes.
the operator. Do you think it could be when Tomlin's contract is up in 3 years?
I mean, it could be.
Could that
it's-
be when they finally say bye-bye?
to Tomlin?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be. I mean,
Those two, to me, seem intrinsically tied together.
yeah, I thought that was the same case with Ben too, but turned out that wasn't the case either. It's hard to say because, I mean, Art, like I said, he's not going to come out and say he's going to be retired, so I don't know if you can really tie those two together. I mean, he could be done next year for all we can know about and giving more stuff to Danny, or it could be 5 or 6 years from now. I would be hesitant to really tie those two together at this point right now. Maybe if Tomlin has another 2 garbage years or a garbage year where it's 6 wins, then maybe that is the time. I don't know. I don't think, personally, I just don't think Art wants to be the guy that'd be known to get rid of Mike Tomlin. That's just a personal opinion.
Do you think Danny's ready now?
Yeah. Danny's a smart kid.
Yeah, he's
been around.
He's a football guy too.
Plus, he's held every basic position possibly known to man, from a wide receiver coach to the the business aspect of
Equipment.
it. So.
I mean, he went through the whole entire gamut, which
Yes.
is smart whenever you're
and I'm sure
family business.
And you could tell that he was the guy that his dad pointed at and said, "This is you're the replacement."
Heir apparent.
So you go to the Wharton Business School. You work through, like you said, equipment manager. He was an assistant wide receiver coach, and he worked in the league office. So,
Scouting.
yeah, I think he has a little bit of everything. I think he'd be ready right now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think they're going to operate this offseason? Like, they were involved in free agency last year. They overhauled their quarterback room, though they didn't have to spend a lot of money to do it. Apart from that, they didn't do anything with the offense. I mean, assorted tight ends. They did spend their biggest chunk of change in the history of the franchise on Patrick Queen, if you go by average annual value. Might they do that offensively this offseason?
I just don't know where.
Wide receiver, just to name one.
Well, you think the T. Higgins.
I
mean,
it doesn't have to be T. Higgins. That's where this always goes.
because he's always number one. He's number one.
Right.
That's why.
Because that's the only really big name.
And everybody in the Pittsburgh area knows the AFC North T. Higgins. So it's easily just rolling off the top of your.
You think he'd want to come here?
No.
They'd have to overpay.
Yeah.
Do you think they'd overpay?
No.
I don't think so.
I mean,
either.
look at Calvin Ridley. I mean, that guy got a ton of money last year, and that's why he ended up going to Tennessee.
I will
He
say
wanted to go
though,
to
I mean
Tennessee.
they were prepared to pay Brandon Ayuk all that money.
Yeah. They got a ton of money. They're I thought I saw they were the top 5 or 6 in cap space, maybe. So they got enough money, but you have to pretty much push some of that aside for the quarterback and TJ. I mean, let's face it, they're going to sign TJ between.
Can't they work his deal where he can get like signing bonus and a lot of money up front?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, one thing Omar's good at is manipulating contracts to put it.
Yeah, wouldn't you
to where
guess
he
that
wants it
his
at.
wouldn't you guess his cap hit'll go down this year?
Probably. What is it? It's pretty high.
Yeah.
So, but still, you have to have that money there. They at least want it accounted for. But I mean, he's going to get paid. And I've said how much. People say how much TJ's going to get paid. Look at the highest paid defensive player and put a couple grand on top of that. Until the next guy comes by and he surpasses that. It's just how it works.
You think Minka will be a Steeler next year?
Yeah. I don't think they're going to make much changes. I mean, they promised changes, and we got Aaron Curry leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that on did they
That's weird.
did they not
It's a sideways move, too.
Yes.
right.
His contract was up.
Okay.
Do you think they wanted him back?
I thought they liked
I
him.
thought they liked him
Yeah.
too.
Me
That's
too.
why I was a little bit shocked. And it's not like I'm thinking, okay, maybe he has ties to Aaron Glenn, but he doesn't. Who's the DC at
Wilkes.
Yeah. Does he have any ties there? I don't think so. So
It's so weird because we've sat here and said we want changes. And you want the big changes, they're not going to do the big changes. So then you start thinking about the assistant coaches that you'd like to see leave. And that's the one guy was never mentioned because they seem high on him and he seems like a riser in the industry. He's obviously wanted. That's why he wound up with the New York Jets. That was a weird one to me.
unless the Jets offered him more money, I don't know. I mean, I could be it.
Yeah, but don't you usually like take a step up if you're going to leave or?
Oh.
Well, I mean, to
Well,
be
the
same-
contract's up. I mean, maybe let's see who they bring in to replace him as well. Maybe that sheds some light onto whose idea it was. I just don't think that it was the Steelers' idea. I think Aaron Curry might have maybe he likes New York. I don't know. I don't know. But it did seem curious that I thought it would get more play than it actually did. A guy that you love your coaching tree. He seemed like at least a little bit of a growth there on the tree that all of a sudden does a sideways move and nobody really probably because of the position he's at, but
Your boss now has a better coaching tree than does Mike Tomlin with Chuck Pagano going over to the Baltimore
now
Ravens.
if Aaron Curry goes on to become a head coach somewhere, is that a Tomlin limb?
Oh, man.
No, because it would be from the Jets. It would be Aaron Glenn.
I just don't know where the tree starts. Is it a coordinator? Or
It
is
starts from the last place you were to then becoming a head coach.
So where's Ben Johnson's tree start? Detroit, or is it
Detroit.
Or when he was like in
It's where you
Miami
jump from. I agree with Doran.
Yeah, Detroit.
It's semantics.
whatever
Whatever fits your narrative and argument. That's exactly right.